Yay! Welcome everybody to day 5 of LOVEStream. I am so glad to see you here, and I have my dear friend, Ms. Miché Meizner, that I'm going to tell you about in a minute. So we've got Hypnicity, and we've got Debbie in the flow here, and more people will be joining us shortly, which we're very excited about. What did you guys think about our surprise prayer guest yesterday? Was that kind of a mind blower? Well, get ready because we have another mind blower today. I was doing the channeling last night, and after I finished Metatron's message, I'm like, okay, who's coming today with the prayer? No words. You're going to love it. So be sure you stick around and listen to that. So hang on just a sec. I'm a little discombobulated at the moment. Let me get all my stuff up here in the front that I need. I want to tell you about this awesome lady, Ms. Miché Meizner, who I have known, I think, like a decade we've known each other or
I think
more.
so, yeah. Mm-hmm.
We go way back online. We've never met in person, but we don't need that these days. It's a bonus, but it's great to know each other online. So let me tell you a little bit about Miché. You know, some people walk into your life and they immediately feel like your soul family. That's Miché. She has many tools in her toolbox, but her presence is what really defines her. She's grounded, wise, radiant, and deeply kind. You won't find a kinder person than Miché. She blends wisdom and woo, and she's been doing that since 2002. She helps women shed outdated identities to live their lives rooted in truth, joy, and deep self-love. Her approach is a beautiful infusion of healing tools that have come through hard-won experience and her heart-centered humor. After losing her home and her jewelry business in a wildfire in 2020, she didn't crumble. Instead, she asked Spirit to reveal the gift that was hidden in the midst of that devastation. The answer became her spiritual compass to rebuild her life and deepen her purpose. Today, Miché is a mentor for the soul, a jeweler of the spirit, and a living reminder that even in life's ashes, beauty lives on. I want you now to welcome my friend Miché and prepare to remember just how blessed you really are. Welcome, Miché.
Wow. Thank you, Deborah. That was wonderful, beautiful. I've sort of become the queen of resilience after the wildfire and going through everything, and it became something that I teach more of. Skills how to navigate life with ease and grace, and to keep bringing in the magic, keep bringing in our soul into this human suit and human life that we're living, and helping other people do that as well. So thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be part of this love stream with you and all the guests that have come before us. And can't wait to see what Metatron has in store for us today.
I think you're going to find more synchronicities because while I was channeling it, I'm going, okay, yeah, that clicks with what I know about Miché. And it's like, I'm just gobsmacked at how they do that. It's so amazing. But tell us a little more about you, because I didn't really talk a whole lot about what you do. Share with us some wonderful anecdotes, because I know you have a lot of them.
Right. Well, first, I would say, wisdom and woo since 2002, it rhymes pretty nicely. So I stuck with that. But honestly, I think I've been doing my work since even I was little, and helping the people around me, hopefully trying to help them see, how wonderful they are and see their way to their own self-love, which is something I was working on for my lifetime. One of the signature pieces of work that I do, I call Cosmic Attunement. It was something that was actually downloaded to me. Well, it was interesting. It wasn't downloaded directly to me. I was working on a friend of mine. She was visiting. I said, hop on a massage table. Let's play. Let's do some energy work. And she started channeling while we're lying there. She's lying there. She said, I feel like I need to say something. I'm like, yeah, we're friends. Say whatever you want, but that's not actually what she meant. She meant something was coming through, and she was getting very specific instructions and guidance from who I recognized to be my healer guides, who I had never actually had a discussion with or interacted with. I used to, when I would do energy work with people, it was like in like an operating theater where, you know, people are like watching up from above, seeing what's going on. And I always felt like I had a group kind of keeping an eye on me, never talking. I figured if I screwed up, they would, you know, step in and, you know, rescue me or them or, you know, whatever, but there was never anything. And so in this instance, my friend starts, you know, in very like expert and decisive terms, you know, spin to the right and move the whatever up. I don't even remember what the terms were. And I was like, what is going on here? And I decided to just pretend that I knew what they were talking about. So she's lying there on a table with a cloth over her eyes and, you know, shouting these instructions. And I just start, you know, kind of waving my arms around and it's like, okay, raise it to the right. So I raise something to the right. And then at one point she says, move to the left. So I moved to the left. I said, move to the left. So I moved more to the left. And now I'm like up against a bookcase. I can't go any further. And suddenly I realized that was my left, not her left. And so I switched and I go the other way. And she said, that's it. Well, her eyes were closed and she had a cloth over her face. And I wasn't touching her. So certainly she didn't know. They knew that I had, you know, gone on point instead of going, you know, off in this other direction. We kept at this work for several days in a row, learning more, and they were channeling to me, and they basically were saying like, you know, shit or get off the pot. You already know what you're doing. You already got these gifts, like get out there and start doing it. And so I did. And it's been 5-6 years now, I think. Some of the most profound, some healing, but I would say more transformational. When I work with somebody with this modality that I came to call a cosmic attunement, their lives are shifting. Their whole view of their life is shifting, and things are happening for them, or they're making choices for themselves that they didn't have the direction or the chutzpah or the confidence maybe to do before. And it was like I was just being reminded of some of what I came here to do. And I've been doing it. And as far as a funny story, mostly I've done this work online, like over Zoom with people. There was one woman who signed up. I'd never met her, didn't know who she was. We're doing this session. And one of the things in the attunement that is, I think, pretty different than anything that I had trained in before was this sense of like gathering up the past painful, traumatic, difficult, maybe it's illness or whatever, like things that you've lived through and maybe resolved in a lot of ways, but there's some like detritus, there's some debris around your environment energetically. And I'm gathering it up and condensing it into the essence so that you can get the wisdom or the strength or the knowledge or the understanding from it without having to stay connected or re-traumatize from what happened in the first place. And I don't know what it is. I don't ask, you don't tell. I'm just energetically doing this stuff. And I'm usually shown some kind of sphere, like a crystal or a gold ball or a blue ball or something. And then I'm shown where to place it energetically in my client. And so in this circumstance, I was shown to put it down her pants. I'm thinking, okay, so I did it. But when we did the debrief afterwards, I don't want to say this to this woman. I've never met her. I'll drop something down your pants. It's embarrassing and ridiculous and, you know, absurd. So I try to, you know, muffle it around and I say, I've placed a, you know, I don't know, a beautiful golden orb in your root chakra. And they're saying to me like, come on. You know, this is not what you signed up for. You're doing this. We're showing you, you got to follow what we're telling you. So I copped to it and I said, look, I'm embarrassed. It's hard to say, but this is what I was shown. This is what I did. And she just looked at me and she said, oh, that makes perfect sense. And that was it, you know? So yeah. I follow what I'm showing. I follow what comes through because it's my guides. If I'm working with you, it's all your guides. They're collaborating. They're telling me in metaphor and visuals and in words sometimes what to do or what to share with you. It is not my job to edit it, right, or to censor it. And so I'm bringing what's coming through. and it's changing people's lives. So I love doing this work, and it energizes me as I'm doing it.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, that's the amazing thing about these healing modalities because you're not just using any old tool, you are tapping into divine. And
yes,
divine knows what the person needs. All you've got
right,
to do is be the facilitator to bring it through and deliver it,
mhm,
which is
right,
why it's so important. Don't question, just give what you've been told to give.
right, and show up. I mean, it's coming through the filter of us. That's why there are different modalities. Different people are receiving things differently. And for years, I was studying other people's modalities and training, even with the people who created it, right? But it still was theirs. It was from divine through them, and yes, they could help people learn and facilitate something, but it was not nearly as potent as when my guides came through me, and I'm just doing it how it comes through me. Um, it's
And it is so beautiful because when you function in that way that your soul is called to function, there's such simplicity.
yes.
And you've got this huge toolbox, I know you do,
Mhm.
but isn't it amazing that, yeah, the knowledge, the wisdom you gain, that's all wonderful, but you don't need that to do this work, the
Right.
attunements. It's so
Mhm.
beautiful. Now,
Right.
how long did it take you to come to a place where you would get the message and you would just say, "Got it," and do it, rather than ego coming in and whispering that you're making it all up?
Right. you know, in the years, I mean, it was like 20 years before that of training in different modalities. And there was a lot of times that question, the questioning of what was coming through and the question of what I was being trained, and we'd be like 100 people in some, ballroom in a hotel learning somebody's training. And we'd all be like, you mean hold my hand like this or do it like this? Or should I be closer? Or what should I be thinking? And, so many questions because we're trying to do somebody's thing. And so by the time this came to me, it was pretty much, sometimes I'd question it like, really, you want me to put this down this woman's pants? And of course I'm not literally, we're on Zoom. I'm not touching anybody. I'm not doing anything. So, I would hesitate sometimes, but it would come through. I would get it. It would move through once when this first started downloading through my friend, it pretty much was immediate. It was like, okay, I'm here, I'm doing it. And one of the things that I think made it easier is that it wasn't coming in through my mind. It was coming in through her as a channel.
Yeah.
And like if they had spoken directly to me, I'm sure I would have been questioning stuff like everything else I had been. It was like, really? I'm supposed to do that? Or did I get that right? Or whatever. She was barking orders at me, from my guides. And I knew I wasn't making that up. And so it really helped me just kind of latch on to, okay, this is coming in. It felt right. It felt like they were connecting some very sort of ancient version of me
Mhm.
that was living here now. There was one day I was passenger with my partner driving us to town, and I was saying something and talking with my hands, and I saw green lights shooting off my fingertips. And I was like, okay, something is happening here that I have never experienced, and that I just want to keep allowing it, and bringing it to people. So by then it was easy, not easy. It was simple. It was clear, and it had taken me years of getting out of my own way, to try to do that. There's these same guides still not having discussions with me or really showing me things. I remember 10 years, 15 years before that, I had a friend who was a massage therapist, an energy worker, could see auras, and we would take turns just sort of doing energy work on each other. And there was one time where I felt like I was working so hard of the like, do I do this? Do I do this? How do I move this? And in my mind's eye, my guides removed my hands. So all I had were stubs.
Oh
And it
my
was
god.
like the message was like, stop,
Yeah.
stop focusing so much and thinking like your hands need to do this and that. And so I'm having this session, which we had been doing hand and arm, motions. I had no hands anymore. So I was like kind of moving around with these, stump arms, but it got me into the the feeling and the paying attention, the inner experience of what was I receiving more than, should I cup my hand? Should I spread my fingers? Should I, whatever? Like,
Yeah.
that's just all, that doesn't matter. Do what you feel, but not what you think you have to. I
Yeah,
also,
well, that's humanity. We always overthink things. And with the
yeah,
spiritual, especially the healing things, you really have to feel your way through.
right.
You
And
know?
especially now in so much uncertainty, right, in general, in whatever area, and also even for healers, for light workers, we're saying so much how we're shifting into a different time or a different model or different possibilities. We can't just keep doing what we have been doing and think that that's it, right? This is time to expand and to really be present and receive more and run with that and try it and explore, because it's time to be more of who we already are, but we're not, I didn't come in remembering this necessarily.
Mhm.
Right? So it's time to allow more to come through me and be more, which mostly means opening. Many years ago, somebody said, it's like you need to open your fire hydrant. You're just sort of trickling, and you need to, unscrew that hydrant and let it go. And I think for all of us, right, through our hearts and through our intention and our intuition and our
Yeah.
connection to higher self,
Don't be afraid of the power.
right?
Let the power flow. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right. It's like it's not going to blow you away. It's like that much is going to open in me, and it's going to come through, not push me or knock me down or whatever. And same for other people. So hopefully the work that I do is helping other people do their work, step into that, find that, as is so much of what you do. I've been surprised. I keep hearing people saying, yeah, I took Debra's, 21 day Metatron challenge and, opened this and I started channeling and I found my wisdom and I found my heart. It's great. Just keep helping people wake up and find themselves.
Yeah. And the thing is that just came channeled through Metatron.
Hmm.
It's just beautiful when we can do that and allow it to flow without questioning. And I love what you were just saying because it ties directly into Metatron's message for today.
Okay.
Yes, and it's just amazing. So probably now's a good time to do that. We got a nice group here. And so I'm going to deliver to you Metatron's message for day 5. Then we'll chat a little bit. You can do some Q&A if you have questions. And then we're going to segue into Miché's presentation, which I'm really excited to share with you. So let's bring up Metatron. Metatron begins. You are making fine progress, and we are most pleased with your diligence and willingness to participate. We feel the love you bring and deeply appreciate the depths of emotion you share with us and one another. We are awash in gratitude and love and are excited to continue this journey with you. Through the highs and the lows, and even the plateaus, we remain perpetually at your side, ready, willing, and able to inspire delight and comfort. Separately or altogether, our mission is to serve you to the very highest of our ability, yesterday, today, and tomorrow. That is the sacred relationship that exists between us, in case you were wondering. Merrily we sail along in sunshine and in rain. It's easy for us to maintain an upbeat, positive attitude because we can see the future laid out in front of you and the many possibilities that exist. Some better than others, but all quite marvelous, waiting for you to make a choice to lock in each new section of the journey. Will you stay on the straight and narrow today? Or will you deviate, taking an unexpected turn? Maybe you'll decide to go spelunking in a cave. No matter, the choice is yours, and we will shift to accommodate you. The only thing that changes is the immediate outcome. You will still end up at the same place when you reach the end of your journey. The only variable involves the experiences along the way. We encourage you. Always choose the most delicious, delightful, exciting options for your exuberant, soul-satisfying journey. You deserve no less. We hope by now you're getting the idea that many of you deserve far more than you're allowing yourself. Don't hold back. Indulge. You didn't come here to scrimp and short shrift yourself. You came to live large with gusto, bushels of love for yourself and the planet. Embrace that childlike innocence that still remains deep inside of you. Reconnect with your dreams. Check in once in a while to see whether you're on track with those pure, innocent dreams of your youth. Not all will fit you as they once did, but there are those that you still hold close to your heart and long for. Those are the ones we encourage you to revisit and reconsider how you might bring them forth. It is never too late as long as you're still breathing. Be more playful. We enjoy spending time in play, helping you create the high vibe, giggly energy of excitement and exploration as you experiment to see what might happen if you choose A, B, or C. Guess what? You can choose all three because you're an unlimited, much loved child of Creator. No limits on you, baby. Explore your world like a beautiful butterfly, flitting from one delicious meal to another, sampling the nectar along the way, pausing to imbibe in the very tastiest. Life should be a delight for your senses. If yours have become slightly dull, then we encourage you to tune in, revive them, give them something new and exciting to focus on. Do something impractical that your pragmatic self would never do. Do it just for the joy and the incongruence with your normal, color between the lines self. Step out of bounds once in a while to explore. You might discover you've been missing the tastiest morsels along the way because you were being the good little girl or boy, staying within the lines, living the safe life. Oh, my darling child, you did not come to live the safe life. You came for exuberance, gusto, and bliss. Don't settle for anything less. And if you're at a loss as to what to do or where to go, call out to your angels. Reach out your hands. We will lift you up and fly you into a new space where you can explore and experiment to find the exuberance. We're game if you are. Pretty please. It would make us so happy. If you won't do it for yourself, do it for us. Make our day. Yes, there are heavy times ahead where you will have to hunker down and be more serious. But that day is not today. Today is a delightful, lighthearted, blissful, sunshiny day. And we're not just talking about what you see in the sky. We're talking about the attitude, energy, and opportunities. Like a child on the carousel, reach out and grab that brass ring when you see it. Giggle with delight at your reward. Cherish that treasure. Give yourself love and appreciation for your accomplishments. There are many. Should you fall and skin your knee, we'll be right there by your side to lift you up, heal the boo-boos, wipe away your tears, and give you a gentle kiss on the forehead, encouraging you to get right back out there, to be the unstoppable, adventurous, precocious soul that still exists deep inside of you. Let him or her out to play. You have worked diligently, and you deserve a reward, a relaxing play day to blow off steam, to appreciate and reflect upon your accomplishments. We, of course, always celebrate your accomplishments, but it's important that you do as well. It's important, sweetheart, that you give yourself the depth of love that your Creator gives to you. For you are the most precious one in your life. You are deserving of that love and more. Give it to yourself and accept it on behalf of yourself. It's important that you step into the full knowledge and understanding of who you are as a divine soul. Accept that truth. Then you can stop underestimating and limiting yourself. You may have been taught from a young age to live in a box, boundaries and consequences for venturing out. If that was your experience, we're sorry. That's a lie, an illusion, because you are unlimited and intended to live in the sunshine in a state of delight, never in a box. You are not pizza. You do not belong in a box. It's our wish for you that your eyes will be opened and you will see those artificial boundaries that have been created for you and that you have created for yourself. Once you clearly see them, like Joshua at the Battle of Jericho, you can blow your trumpet and the walls will come tumbling down. There are no walls that can contain your unlimited glorious soul self. Are you getting the picture now? We hope you will pick up the contagious excitement that we feel for you every day. Carry that forth, creating a new reality for yourself, opening doors of opportunity left and right, things you may have thought were impossible. Now, beckon to you. Accept no limitations, and particularly not from yourself. Choose what brings you joy and bliss. Soar on into the sunset with a heart full of love, peace, and bliss. We love you oh so very much, dear blessed child. Go in love. We will see you again tomorrow. Namaste, dear one.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, thank you, Metatron. That was 23 minutes of exhorting. Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah, we are so much more than we realize. And certainly, if anyone's been in my way in my lifetime, it's been me. And the task of, getting out, not only getting out of my way, but getting in flow with my way, right?
Yeah.
Allowing.
Well, the allowing is so important. Just accepting who you are and that is already enough.
Right.
That is so huge for so many people. And I know that's one of your specialties. So I was just cracking up while this was coming through because it's like, are you giving me this just for Miché? Of course, I know everybody, but it's like, wow, so tailored.
Right. I know it has been my life work to really not only accept myself, but accept that the self that I came here with is the one. It's like I'm the right version of me already to be here and to live my most expansive life and to be of greatest service. I used to think, who do I need to be, right, to help on the planet? And I couldn't figure that out because it wasn't out there to be found.
Yeah.
It was only really when I came to say, like, it's me, just the way I am, just the mix that I bring, my personal cocktail of evolution. And then I share with other people to inspire them, right? I don't teach people how to be me because there's no point in that. Mm-hmm. Hopefully I help people and teach them how to tap into their own selves and love and permission for themselves to be themselves. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like an epidemic in the world of people who just do not understand how amazing they are because they've been programmed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then
so I hope that this love stream, reaches those ears and they suddenly wake up and realize, wow, I've cheated myself for a great portion of my life. And
Right. And instead of also thinking about others and judging them and thinking they should be this way or that way, or that you should be like them, you be you. You work on being you, loving you, respecting yourself. And I think it's like, the idea that an acorn has the oak already in it. So we came in, we have all of that within us, and we need to let that unfurl and open and grow into who is already inside of us. And to allow other people to do that too.
Check out that comment.
Yeah, beautiful. Mm-hmm. Right? We don't even have a clue of what is possible, so I like to tell people to, put out questions to ask the universe, what else is possible for me today? Or, how can I live my most exciting day? And don't answer that for yourself. Don't let your mind answer, because our minds are these very finite reference materials, and the world is so much bigger and possibility is so much more infinite. So ask the question, throw it out, or to your angels, like Metatron was saying, and then let the answers come. Let things be revealed to you or experienced by you. So you'll be surprised. And
Absolutely.
we worry that being surprised means something I don't like is coming, and what if the surprise is something, more amazing, more delightful, more inspiring than we could have ever imagined. And
Yes.
so keep opening, and this is a world of uncertainty, and especially now, and uncertainty can be your friend because it dismantles things so that you either get to put things back in a new order or new pieces fall into place and something entirely new can come of it.
New, delightful, marvelous. And I love this comment from Linda. Linda, my heart is just overflowing
Mm-hmm.
joy and love for you. I'm so happy to hear that.
Yeah.
And thank you for being brave and sharing. So we've got just a couple minutes, you guys, before we're going to segue into Miché's presentation. If you have any more comments or questions, pop them in there for us. And we'll just do a little more tap dancing here. You didn't talk about your jewelry very much, so maybe this would be a great time just to share with people what that's all about, because it's so beautiful.
Right. Okay. Thank you. Yeah. I started making jewelry when I was 14 in high school. The reason being they did not let girls into the auto mechanic shop or the metal shop. And I loved tools and making things and working with my hands. And I didn't really care too much about jewelry at the time, to be honest, but it was the closest I could get to, playing with a torch and hammers and files and, making things. So I did that. And I've been making jewelry ever since. So that's more than 50 years onward. And it's always been, the jewelry that I make has pretty much always been with other people in mind, not really like fashion statement sort of things, but I would say meaningful. Right. So even as early as 15 or 16, I actually made a ring for someone who worked in my neighborhood with a Labrador on it, which at the time, and a pinky ring, which would have been a clue to other people in her community that she was gay. So, it's one of the ways that we could identify each other when it was, not safe to just, I don't know, flirt or say, hey, you're going to the, lesbian concert next week or, whatever. For many years, I've been making really only custom work so that somebody comes to me with what they have in mind, what they want to celebrate or communicate or remind themselves. And I make wedding rings and commitment rings. One of the things that I really love doing is what I would call like a journey piece. So the journey that you're on in your life, what you're trying to expand on, or maybe remind yourself about who you are as a soul or something, we would talk about it. I would maybe get intuitive psychic hits of, what that's about for you, or messages and images, and design some piece for you that would be a talisman, a touchstone, something actually tangible that you could wear, around your neck, or a ring or a bracelet, whatever it is. But it would have maybe the symbolism or the stones that bring forth the characteristics that you are wanting to bring ground in your life or in your energy. And so what I love about that is it's the same work that I do about self-love and becoming more of who you are, as a coach and as an energy worker, healer, and bringing it into also the tangible material level with the energy, so that you now have something, it's not just, some pretty sparkly thing, but it's a sparkly thing with a energy and a message for you to keep growing, keep moving forward, or remind yourself, maybe it's an ancestral piece. You're not alone. You're in this lineage of change and growth. So
well, I think you want to address this one.
I wish there was a ring for way showers. I think we can work on that. I think yes, connect with me, please. Let's talk about it, because custom rings, my specialty, and that we could come up with something that might feel universal, and we can certainly come up with something that would feel very personal to you. What does it mean to you to be a way shower? What strengths do you bring, or what strengths do you want to build more of, and to support that. So yeah, that's right up my alley of
I love that hypnicity, because what a great idea. You could do
right.
a whole set of them with variations. And
Right. And what pops into my mind is I actually made a Green Lantern ring for somebody, right? So it's a symbol already out there, and can't make too many because copyrights and all that, right? But sending a message to others, right, and tapping into your superpowers. So
yes,
yeah.
beautiful. Speaking of superpowers, Linda says that she took an auto maintenance class in senior year of high school, because that was the first year they opened it to girls, and she got an A. Go, Linda.
Awesome.
Life skills, those are so important. I wish I'd
Right.
had a carpentry class when I was in school. That would have come in handy.
Totally. And over the years, I have learned those things. I've actually studied. I've worked as an auto mechanic. The state of California licensed me as a brake adjuster. So,
Wow.
I got those things, but even still through that, by then I was hooked with the jewelry, and to be able to bring that sort of creativity and that special pieces to people. Although, work getting their brakes fixed is good too, but there's a lot of other people who can do that. But yeah, I mean, we need to be able to get our hands in everywhere we want, and make stuff and create stuff and fix things for ourselves and others. Yeah.
Absolutely. And Kath Van had a question for you earlier. Does Miché have an online business to utilize her connections for clarity within?
Yes, I do. My website is micheshines.com.
And that's without the accent, right?
Right. Just MICHESHINES.com. And I've got links there to my jewelry, and I've got a wonderful free meditation you can pick up from there called Creating New Possibilities. And it's sort of what I was saying before, of being able to expand and invite new possibilities. Let the universe answer you. And I just created what I'm calling a menu of services, and I'll put a link on the website there. I'll put a link here too, so that you can tap into that. It's just like a little online booklet of the places, my YouTube channel, and I have some writings on Medium and some meditations on Insight Timer, and then all the different ways that you could hire me for so there's a cosmic attunement for those of us who are in the more woo realm, and for those who are wanting to work woo but a little more grounded, I have the Clear Path groundbreaking session. So you're either out there in the galaxy, or you're digging in the ground, but either way, you're expanding your life. So you can you'll be able to see all of that, and I would love to work with you.
Yeah, thank you. So that's something new I didn't know about you, about the breaks.
Oh,
that's never come up.
Yep. Here's a little, I don't know, feminist success story. I was actually working for Sears back when Sears, still had stores, and I was they were fulfilling the quotas, right? So I was a female. They hired me, and I was trained in tune-ups. I could rebuild an engine. I was, licensed by California, even though this was in New York now, to work on brakes, but they only allowed me to change tires. So I was a tire jerk, as they called, because we would jerk them off.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
And I just, they wouldn't let me do any of this other stuff. So I quit. And about a week later, they called me and basically begged me to come back because they had to meet their quota. And I said, I will come back on these conditions. I want a raise. You have to let me do tune-ups and brake jobs, because I'm trained to do it. And only the guys are doing it. There's one other woman, and they would only let her also do the tires. She wasn't trained to do any of the other stuff, although they could have trained her. Anyway, so by the end of that week, I was back working at Sears, and I was doing tune-ups and brake jobs, and had gotten like $1 an hour raise or something. So
that's awesome. Yeah, Hypnicity says back years ago she worked in Capitola, California for Sears.
Oh, I've been through Capitola.
Oh, and Linda says she was at Sears as well, but not in automotive. That's cool. All right. And Sonia, she took woodworking in high school. Yeah, I wish we'd had that. They
Great.
probably did, but I was in band and home ec and those kind of things.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of the metal shop teacher decided to start teaching himself jewelry making. And so he created the class. And so he was like a chapter or two in the book ahead of us and, years of skills. But thanks to him, I and many other women were able to get into these classes and work with tools and learn skills.
Yeah.
So.
Were you ever able to connect with him years later to let him know that you actually made a profession?
He did know that. My mom also taught in that high school for many years. And so he was able to follow and he knew that. Yeah, he knew that he made a big impact for me and for other women. I know there's some women who've gone on to become, sort of famous jewelry maker designers. I've always been, I'm really good at what I do, but I'm not like visible, huge, famous. That's okay.
Yeah, but custom is a whole different niche. So that's perfect for you. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the people that you have brought these special pieces to, that they just mean so much to them throughout their lives.
Yes. And I get couples coming to me saying, you made our wedding rings 24 years ago and somebody lost theirs. They need a new one. Can you do it? Or it's our 30th anniversary. We want a new set of rings. So, I've been at this for quite a while, and it's such an honor to have people come back to me so many years later. I recently actually got to make a pair of wedding rings for a couple. The daughter had been adopted by a lesbian couple 20 something years ago when I made their wedding rings. And she'd been admiring her mom's rings all through her life and realized she could come to me, and I made rings for her and her fiance. And that just felt really special to be able to.
Beautiful full circle moments. Yeah. It's awesome. So we're getting a lot of activity going over here in comments. Elena also worked at Sears in college.
Okay.
You got to read this one.
An edge jerk. Yes. That's perfect. Yes.
Yeah, that is so cool.
Yeah, great.
And Linda, what did you say? Your handy person skills were needed and used in your life. You learned from your dad. That's awesome.
Yes, right. I learned stuff from my dad too, whereas my grandfather would not teach me anything, because I was a girl, but my dad did. And I'm grateful to him for that, for sure.
That is wonderful.
Which reminds me, I've been interested and done a lot of different things in my lives, in this life, probably other lives too. But, the phrase, a jack of all trades and a master of none. And, I've heard that. I've had it said to me, at me, whatever. And it always felt sort of like an insult.
Yes.
Like, why can't you just, settle down already and, just pick one thing? And one thing never really felt enough. And it's not like things would get hard and I would leave. I'm actually quite good at a lot of things, or things might get boring for me and I would go to something else. Anyway, it's just like in the last year or so, I don't even remember where I came across it, but there's a second line to that. And it's attributed to Shakespeare, and it goes, a jack of all trades and a master of none is oft times better than a master of one.
Oh, there you go.
Right? I mean, you buy an old house and it needs fixing up and you can't afford to just hire everybody. It's pretty better if you know a little bit about plumbing, a little bit about electric, and a little bit about painting a room, right? Than if you can only do either one of those things or none of those things and something else. And because you just have only ever stuck to the one thing that you feel you can do or should do. Anyway, that was a very liberating discovery, that second line, to own that. Yes, exactly. And sure, I'm not, expert at everything, but also we don't need to be experts at most things. We need to be, good enough for what we're trying to get done, or even if we're teaching other people or leading other people, sometimes all you need is to be a little bit ahead so that you can help, shine the way or whatever.
Exactly. Yeah. And there was a time we would have just called you a Renaissance woman. And that's a positive thing.
Right.
Mm-hmm. A lot of interest. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Debbie says she's a jack of all trades, master of none. Linda likes her quote.
right? Or I would change it to, a jack of all trades and a master of many, or a master of some.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Just have a lot of interest. That's fine.
yeah.
Arlene said she also learned a lot from her dad. He wanted boys, and he got 5 girls and 1
Yeah.
boy. Well, somebody knew something dad didn't. Maybe that was his lesson in that lifetime, that, to be more flexible.
Right.
Awesome. Well, I tell you what, I love talking to you. We could do this all day, but you have a presentation that we're all excited to hear. So how about if we segue into that now?
Okay. I'm excited to hear it too. I will, I will, uh, oh my words are, yeah, this might be more energy than words, because words are a little tricky right now, but I will disclose that I don't know what's about to happen. My commitment was to show up, be open and present, and let flow through what is meant to flow through, right? Because not only for myself in this moment, and with you, but depending on who shows up to an event, who's there in the moment, or even who's there in our future. When I trust what's going to come through, it gives me chills. It's for the benefit of all, and my mind doesn't know what that is. So I'm just going to sort of tune in and tap in, and just see what comes through. Yeah. Right. So yeah, just everyone in the moment, whatever moment you're here, just take a nice deep breath and really feel. As the breath moves in, feel your chest, feel your belly rising, but feel your chest, your heart, the center of your chest, your heart space. I like to visualize a tiny bright blue light in the center of your chest, like a pilot light. It's the seed of our life force that we came in with, and it connects us. Connects us to the earth, it connects us to each other, it connects us to our own higher selves, the greater spark that we are, that is also a part of all that is. And this little tiny spark in the center of your chest, as you notice it, you breathe into it. Imagine breathing directly into this pilot light, and it becomes even brighter. It grows a bit larger. It may waver and wiggle a little bit, the way an actual, like a gas pilot light in a stove might wave, but it's grounded, it's connected to source. And it warms you and lights you up and enlivens you. It's your spark. And in so many ways, we've been, taught or just modeled to hide it or cover it or not even acknowledge that it's there. And so I invite all of us to see it and feel it. And even imagine touching it. It's a flame, it's a light, but there's no heat. It will not burn you. So you can even imagine energetically passing a hand through this light in the center of your chest, and feel that the connections and the vibrance, the life force, and let that just keep growing. As I was thinking about this love stream, I had a phrase, an image come to me. My heart is a fountain. And it's as if this pilot light is at the very base of this fountain, and the energy of love and the waves of kindness and compassion flowing out from this base like a fountain in all directions, shooting out, sprinkling glowing, glittering light and water out in every direction. This play of light and energy coming from the center of our chest, expanding outward in all directions, and then dropping down around us, filling our own space, our own energetic sphere with more of this light and energy, and then flowing beyond, rippling outward, blanketing the planet, expanding in every direction, including up toward the sky and down to the center of the earth, resonating out. Maharishi Mahesh Yogi, who brought transcendental meditation to the West, has said that it takes the square root of 1% of the population to tip the scales. So if the square root of 1% of a population sits in heart, in loving kindness and compassion, in a sense of unity and upliftment for humanity, for life on this planet, we can change the entire experience. Masaru Emoto talks about sending love and intention into water, whether it's a glass of water or a body of water. In Japan, they did experiments where people came to the most polluted body of water in the area and prayed and sent love and kindness and good thoughts to it. And they tested the water before and they tested the water afterwards by freezing it and taking photographs of just one drop of water as it froze and the crystal that they created. And the before was this dark, misshapen, almost blob of frozen water. And after simply sending loving kindness to this water, afterwards, these gorgeous, symmetrical, light-filled crystals of water were created. We are 70% or more of water. Our earth is filled with water. They even think that there's way more water under the earth inside. So if we send our love and our light and our hearts out into the earth, into the air, into the water, it will spread. Water holds memory, holds information. We can send loving kindness and unity and compassion and oneness and raise the vibration of the entire planet. One drop of water at a time, one breath at a time, one splash from the fountain of your heart at a time. And together, exponentially, we create a tsunami of love and light. Thank you. Thank you for being here and participating. And thank you, Debbra and Metatron, for creating this space.
Thank you, Miché. That was so beautiful. You know, when you began talking about the light and how it was growing, I was just filled with this little light of mine. I'm going to let it shine. And I know that's your song.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
It was so beautiful.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for being here and enjoying that from me, right?
Yes, allowing your light to expand unlimited, to brighten the world with that love.
Yeah.
Inspiration.
And I learned this line from a song. I don't know if the songwriter wrote it or if it's, something from the Bible or whatever. I love it. No matter how long it's been dark in this place, it only takes one light, the light of one candle, right, to light the whole room. And then as we each add our lights, It's just going to keep getting brighter. And it's not, it just is. It's just brighter. You know, somebody can't say, well, I feel dark, so it's not going to get lighter. No, you light a candle, it's going to get lighter. There's not opposition to that.
Oh, you're getting beautiful comments here. Yes. Debbie loves that you were channeling it live. Yeah. Kelly's asking for healing from Metatron, so we'll just pause a moment.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Metatron, angels, we call upon you to lay your hands on Kelly, to fill her with love. Give her a vital force energy infusion to bring healing to her vessel, to her heart, to her psyche. Bring her to complete, glowing, optimal life force energy. Please and thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're happy to do that, Kelly. Hypnicity wants to know, what ripples do you cast?
What ripples do I cast?
Uh-huh.
Whew. You know, I hope that I'm always sending ripples of self-love and the concept of self-love. And just, you know, I have this image with all the different ways that one can market themselves. You know, my best image is like I'm standing on a street corner somewhere and I am just exuding, I am being love, I am beaming love. And it's so much and so clear and strong that people are just curious. And it brings people into that energy and they want more of it. And some of them want more of it from me and they want to pay me for that. And others are just going to bask in it. And we just create a bigger ripple, you know, and that somewhere in there, my needs get met and your needs get met. Humor, lightness, you know, I took myself way too seriously for way too long. At some point, my mom was like, I didn't know you were so funny. And I was like, yeah, I wasn't so funny. For decades, I was not funny because I was depressed. I didn't want to be here. I was confused. I was lost. I think now, what if we took life as an adventure?
Yes.
So, right. So my ripples are loving kindness, humor, never humor at someone or at myself, even at expense, with myself. I like to say laugh with myself. And to be truly me, imperfectly perfect.
I love that. Yeah. You are so welcome, Kelly. Yes, we're sending you more healing, and the angels will stay with you to keep sending you healing as long as you need it. Kath says she was able to easily hitch a ride on the healing from Metatron, and she hopes that others did as well. Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you, Kath. I'm sure others will come along in the replay, and you know, whomever was here today that needed a healing. The angels are so generous. They will give us anything we need.
Yeah.
They keep telling us that, but somehow we don't quite believe it and we don't ask. All we got to do is ask. We can have whatever we need. It's like I was telling them the other day, Archangel Raziel came through in a message a while back and was talking about how the economy is a little shaky right now and it's making people nervous. Mm-hmm. And he said, hey, I'm an alchemist. I'm kind of good at this money-making thing. You need some help, call on me.
All right.
Okay, you got the red carpet thrown out. Go talk to Raziel about your finances. Why wouldn't you?
Right. Yeah. It's all energy. It's all, somehow it's all available. And somehow we tend to think it's not. You know, even we don't want to use up the angels. Don't want to ask them too much. Don't want to ask if it's not really serious. But the energies, the beings, the guides, they're there for us.
Yeah. And our old selves would have said, I'm okay. Give it to somebody who needs it.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And now we know that's just crazy. Accept it. Why would you turn away something that the angels are offering you? There's enough to go around for everybody. It's unlimited.
Right. And
Hypnicity says, make
time, the more it goes out. So for me to be in my best, most expansive version of me benefits everyone just by osmosis, because we're always emanating and sending out energy. And so let's send out our own best. best top shelf.
Yeah. Because the reverse of that is you are robbing the world of what you came here to give because you are unique. Nobody else gives what you give.
Right.
Yeah. So Hypnicity says, make me a channel of peace, love, and light. I love that. Thank you for sharing that. Debbie says it was a lovely gift. Thank you. She pulled the ripple effect card this morning. Wow.
Oh,
That
cool.
is amazing. I love these synchronicities. Kelly's apologizing to Metatron for the spell check. No problem. They don't get offended by silly things like that. Yeah. Hypnicity loves your energy, Miché. So, you've got group activities that are coming up, right? So if you guys are vibing on Miché's energy, check her out, go hang out in some of those activities. Like, tell us, for instance.
Okay, well, I've got a spoonbending workshop coming up. I haven't set the date yet, but it'll be before the end of the month. And on my webpage, micheshines.com, there's actually a little sign up where you can get onto an email list specifically so that I can tell you when I have the date and how to register for that. I've got a Facebook group called the Spoonbenders Cafe, and I think it might actually be about to go through an overhaul. I'm thinking Pillars of Light, Heart and Soul Network, Heart and Soul Evolution, as kind of a new flavor or new an upgrade for the group, where I'll be doing. I'll be talking and teaching. I'll be inviting other teachers to come in and share their stories or share their skills. So Spoonbenders Cafe right now would be the name it's under. You could go find me there. And then as I'm part of a new paradigm of global networking with people called Bump. I could put a link to that too, but it was through that I am able to interview people for 15 minutes in a group called ENTV, Empowered Network TV, which is where I just recently interviewed Debbra and several of the other love streamers. And so also, if any of you have a story that you want to share, whether it's, something related to work you do or just something that, you want to share about how life works for you or something that you overcame or whatever, then do connect with me, let me know, and I would be happy to host you for this interview and share your story. The group is 23,000 people. I don't know how many eyes actually will get on there, but it's a great place to go and be seen and heard with any message or mission on. So yeah.
So I almost forgot. We still have the prayer to go.
Oh,
so into our conversation, I was not even thinking about it, but oh my gosh, this one is so phenomenal. We can't miss it. I'm going to give you the link for learning more about Metatron's 21-day meditation challenge, because that's where all this came from. We started that meditation challenge to help people connect, to hear, and have two-way conversations with their angels. And then he added this LOVEStream challenge on as the next phase. So if you haven't seen phase 1, you really need to check that out. Right. So there you go. Miché's YouTube channel is pinned at the top. So you definitely want to subscribe and check out her channel. Stay in touch with her. Let her know what you're doing, because you want that energy in your life. Awesome. You are going to be gobsmacked like I was, Hypnicity. All right, let me bring that guest prayer artist up. Okay. So after I finished channeling Metatron, I said, okay, who's coming in to deliver the prayer today? What did I hear? Mickey Mouse.
Wow.
Mickey Mouse came in, and so I'm going, okay, wait a minute. Mickey Mouse was voiced and designed by Walt Disney. Does that mean Mr. Disney's coming in today? And sure enough, Walt Disney came in to share a message with us. Okay. So, wow. So, let's see. Walt Disney begins. Hello, dear friends. It's an honor to be with you today, bringing your Day 5 love stream to a close with the childlike innocence, love, and joy that I always tried to bring to my work. It was my desire to seed the world with that childlike innocence and joy, to make it a better place, to preserve those childlike sensibilities. The two often get ground away by the challenges of simply surviving. I'm so happy to see that you are bringing the world to a better place. In my day, I would have called it the promised land. I'm excited to see you create that world and didn't have it because you know it's a little like what I was trying to create with my theme parks. Of course, they would never have come close to the actual glory of the promised land, but I was trying to bring a little bit of promised land energy to the world. Maybe you've experienced one of my parks and you know what I'm talking about. I wasn't a perfect man. I would never claim to be. But somehow, by the grace of God, I managed to keep that childlike innocence alive in myself to bring that sensibility to the world with the help of very talented teams. I want you to know that if I could accomplish all of that, building a world from the ground up, going from modest means to an empire, you can do anything you choose to do. Whether you're interested in building your own empire or something more modest, don't let anyone clip your wings or discourage you. Because you know the secret that not many in my time knew. That is, you have an entire team of angels, guides, masters, teachers, and enlightened beings working on your behalf, advocating for you, facilitating for you. All you need to do is reach out your hands and fly with them. Like Peter Pan flew with Wendy to Never Never Land. Fly and live your dreams with joy. Then share them with the world, because the world needs the magic and the beauty that only you can bring. There is not another like you in the multiverse. The world is waiting for you to make your contribution. I can tell you there's nothing like the soul-satisfying feeling of bringing your divinely inspired creation to the world. Fly high, fly free, fly with joy. And yes, you can sprinkle a little fairy dust along the way. Your angels will help you. Simply ask them. They would be delighted to do so. Spreading love and joy is where it's at. The world is waiting for you to arrive. And then Mickey giggles and says, yes, it is. I was waiting for you. Thank you, Mickey, and thank you, Mr. Disney. We deeply appreciate that beautiful message. So I'm like, I can't believe how all these pieces synchronistically tied together.
Mm-hmm. Right. And the line about the world is waiting for you, I don't know who originated this saying either, but I love it. The world is waiting for you. The universe is waiting for you, not someone like you. Right.
Yeah.
So your true, authentic self is the piece that fits into the bigger picture and puzzle. Right.
Yeah. So Hypnicity says, cool. And they have a huge collection of Disney memorabilia. I figured there'd be some Disney fans here. There had to be. Yeah, joy, magic, fly with your support team, Kelly. Absolutely, you do that. You will heal and feel so wonderful when you do that.
Awesome.
Yeah, Linda enjoyed it. Thank you, Linda. Hugs and way cool from Linda. Thank you. Thank you all. So any other comments or questions before we call it a day? Any remarks you'd like to make as we wrap up here, Miché?
Me? Yeah, just be the gift that you came here to be. Right? You are a gift, and honor yourself and honor your worth. And even the ways, even mundane ways, I like to say that life is living itself through me.
Yes.
And when we show up and we allow ourselves to express what's coming through us, then we're all doing that. And I believe when we're doing that, we're in the right place, right time, right way. We're being life. So, and if anyone wants help or support with that, I got your back. So reach out and we'll see how I can best support you and help you.
Yes, perfect. And thank you, Debbie. Thumbs up on your way out. Absolutely. I hope you guys had a good time today. I know Miché and I did. And by the way, I just want to share with you, I shared this with Miché before we started. This background was made especially for her because she is a shooting star. So that's what's going on back there. Yes, it's fabulous. And tomorrow's another day of LOVEStream. Who knows what kind of surprises they will have for us, but it's all exciting. We'll be there for it. And if you haven't seen the Sundays with Metatron message this morning, go check that out because synchronistically, of course, it all ties in. Of course. See you tomorrow, Hypnocity. Yes. Awesome.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you so much, my beautiful friend. I so appreciate you. And you guys, by the way, Miché was on my podcast a while back, which you can find on my channel. We had a very deep conversation about a great many things that I think you'll really enjoy now that you've gotten to know her more personally. Awesome. Honor yourself as a gift, something to repeat consistently. Yes. Yes, Kelly, thank you. All right, so I won't take up any more of your time. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you, Angels, Metatron, Ms. Miché.
Yes,
My heart is full.
Big hugs.
Yes.
Bye.
Thank you, everybody. Much love to you today, tomorrow, and forever. Mwah. Bye.